Let's move on to this now. There have been upsets galore at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. But can African hopefuls Morocco again upset the odds by beating France in tonight's semi-final? Well, Michael Abrahamson has been commentating on football for both radio and television for close on 30 years and has watched both sides twice in this year's competition. Commentary is, of course, a real art and requires plenty of preparation, and so we're very grateful to have him on the show to share his thoughts. Michael, a good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the agenda.
Good morning, Naledi. Only a pleasure, and a big day for Africa today.
Tell me something. What does it actually look like when you prepare for commentary, or particularly a commentary stint on a platform as big as the FIFA World Cup?
It's huge. I mean, I commentated 15 matches, I think, or 22 matches, I think, during 2010, which was massive because we were obviously doing a World Cup in our own country. But even for this tournament, there's huge amounts of preparation. You have to know everything about every player, the coaches, the history of the teams, the meetings between the teams, the referee, background to the tournament. Interesting facts. We have a terrific research team at the SABC who do a lot of work behind the scenes, pulling out relevant bits of information. But I like to do my own preparation as well, know the possible lineups, know what the players look like, because we are generally commentating for radio or for television monitor. So we are seeing the same pictures that the viewers are seeing at home. So we need to know those players really, really well. So typically preparation for each game would take me sometimes up to 5 hours, even for a radio commentary for a single game. And I've done 17 so far. I have one more game left. So it'll be 18 games in the tournament that I'll be covering. So it's a lot of hours of preparation. But I think the listeners and the viewers really appreciate that if you put the effort in and you sound like you know what you're talking about. And also, you're working with a lot of other people. You're working with different analysts who have different skills. Some are former players, some are former coaches, and you need to try and bring out the best in them as well. So there are a lot of dynamics at play. It's not just a matter of picking up a microphone and talking. You have to know how to pace the game. If the game's a bit boring, you have to bring in extra facts. If it's interesting, you have to talk about what's happening. So there's a lot of skills involved, and I think it comes with experience.
I mean, it certainly sounds like an incredible amount of work, and then to do it with the enthusiasm that you do it with is really quite the magic, right? But let's talk about tonight's match. France have plenty of firepower with Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, the talk of the tournament, Olivier Giroud in fine goal-scoring form, and Antoine Griezmann pulling the strings and making things happen in midfield. But Morocco have conceded just one goal in the tournament, and an own goal at that. Not very good for them. So can they withstand the French attacking threat?
Well, it depends what sort of team pitches up tonight. Morocco have had a very, very demanding matches that they've played, so they are running on empty, but they need to know that they're doing this for Africa. They're doing this for a different continent, effectively, to try and win the World Cup, because all World Cups previously have been won by either a team from South America or a team from Europe. So it's a big, big occasion for them. France are vulnerable. There's no doubt about that. Tunisia beat them, admittedly a second-string French team, by 1-0 in their final group match when they rested some of their players. But the key thing with France is they've conceded in every single game. So they've played 5 games now in the tournament. They've conceded a goal in every single one of their games. So their defense can be breached. And Tunisia certainly have the players to do that. As you've alluded to, Tunisia have kept a whole lot of clean sheets. The only goal they've conceded was an own goal. So they're very, very tight defensively. So can they win tonight? Certainly Morocco can win tonight. There's no doubt about that. They can go out there and do the job, but they're going to have to be tactically aware because, as you said, France have got some very, very key players out there. Kylian Mbappe is a star for them. He's already scored 5 goals in the tournament. He's equal now with Messi, who got his 5th goal last night. Griezmann pulls a lot of strings in midfield. Giroud, even though before the tournament he wasn't even considered in this French team, he's now very much a star, and he's been around for a long, long time because of all the injuries that they've had, particularly with Benzema not playing and Pogba and N'Golo Kante and various players like that. So France have been there before. They're the defending champions. They're a very, very skillful team, and they have the ability to turn it on when the game's not really going for them. Against England, for example, in the last round, the French had moments in the game where England were on top of them, but they took their 2 moments that they had brilliantly, and that's where they are so strong. So Morocco just need to guard against that and make sure that They are defensively as sound as they can possibly be and play with their hearts. I think they're playing for the continent and they're playing to achieve history. So certainly they can win, but it's going to be a very uphill battle.
Yeah, well, Morocco went to extra time and penalties against Spain and endured, obviously, even a taxing second half against Portugal, while France have cruised through their knockout games. So could stamina be a real factor, particularly in this match?
Definitely. Without a question of doubt, I think stamina is going to be key. As you say, Morocco have had two really, really tough games. They went the distance. They went to penalties against Spain in a very boring match, but Spain really just knocked the ball around, didn't really create anything at all during that game, but it lasted 120 minutes because they went to extra time. And then, as you say, they had to hang on against Portugal, having scored just before halftime through En-Nesyri, and they hung on against sublime and extreme Portuguese pressure for that second half, but they held out defensively. So they have given it their all. And I just hope that the days that they've had, the 4 days that they've had to rest in between that match and tonight's match will be enough for them. But certainly they stretched and they're running on empty. So it's just going to be a question of how much they've still got in the tank. The French, as you say, I wouldn't say they've coasted through their games, but they've certainly taken it a lot easier. They had the luxury, having won their group after 2 matches, to rest a lot of their players for their third group match. And their knockout matches have not been that demanding. They beat Poland quite easily. And then against England, they were never behind in that game. And England were always playing catch up. So the French have had it certainly a lot easier. But they say come into tonight's game with the weight of expectation on their shoulders. Nobody really expects Morocco to win. Everybody expects France to win. So there's huge expectation on the French. And if Morocco can get an early goal, I think it could be a very interesting encounter.
With all the years that you have spent commentating and you look at this World Cup, I'm keen to just pick your brain on a few things, right? For one, some of the star players for you that you've seen in this World Cup, and also some of the most surprising moments that you've seen in this World Cup that certainly make it stand out from what we've seen previously.
I think the major surprises are how well the African nations, and Morocco particularly, have done. Ghana were in with a chance of doing really well right up until the end. Senegal as well, disappointed in the knockout stages, but they did well in the group stages. And then the amazing number of upsets that we've seen. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. Argentina are 1 match away from winning the tournament, and they lost to Saudi Arabia, having lost a 36-game unbeaten streak, which went on for a number of years. So that was an astonishing result. Japan have caused a number of upsets. We've seen South Korea upsetting Portugal. We've seen amazing results throughout the tournament, and literally anybody can beat anybody. So that for me has been the surprise. The standout players, there are a number of them, but if you saw last night's game, Lionel Messi, the way, even at 35 years of age, the way he controls that Argentinian team and his little moments of magic are just sublime. And the way he set up that third goal for Argentina and set it up for Alvarez was just incredible. He's taken games by the scruff of the neck when Argentina haven't really been in the game. For example, the game against Mexico, a moment of brilliance from him, and suddenly Argentina ran away with things. There have been other players who have been impressive. The goalkeeper of Croatia, I thought, has been excellent. The goalkeeper of Morocco as well. You've mentioned Ziyech for Morocco. I mean, he's a key player for them. Yakimi at right back is also key for them. And Amrabat is a very, very important defender for them in the sense that defensive midfielder, I should say. He protects the back four and doesn't allow anything to come through. And it's because of him, principally, that Morocco have this incredible defensive record that they do have. So those are the key players. The other stars, of course, who've gone out the tournament. Ronaldo, we know everything that's happened with him. Neymar for Brazil, and various other players. But the ones I've mentioned, and I think there's a possibility of Mbappe against Messi in the final, or if Morocco spring a surprise, some of the Moroccan players against Messi. And that for me has been a real feature of this tournament this year.
Yeah, you speak. It's the strangest thing because you speak and I can hear the crowd and I can see the game. It's nice to put a face to the voice. I don't know if this is a fair thing to do with a football commentator, but to ask who you think could possibly lift the cup. I'm trying to look up as well what Oscar the Octopus has said. I know in previous years we've had Oscar the Octopus give us a prediction of who could lift the cup. Am I putting you in a corner right there?
I can tell you my opinion. I mean, last night I honestly thought that Croatia would take the game to extra time and would stretch Argentina, and if they could nullify Messi, then I thought they might take it to the all the way and eventually win on penalties where they're so strong. So I thought we would have a repeat of the 2018 final. So I got that one horribly wrong. So my predictions don't really mean much. And also, when you are watching a game and commentating a game, you're not watching it from a spectator's point of view. You're watching it from a commentator's point of view. So you're concentrating on so many little things. So it's very, very difficult to have a massive technical analysis of what's going on when you're trying to concentrate on naming players and giving facts. Yeah. But my heart says I would love to see Morocco go up against Argentina. I just think the French are going to be too strong. I think they've got too many good players in too many key positions. And for Morocco, it might just be a game too far for them. So I'll say it's going to be an Argentina-France final, and then who can win it on the day? Well, literally anybody. I'm going to tip, if that is the case, I'm going to say France have probably got the class to be able to do it, but many people are hoping that it's Lionel Messi's final and that he can finally lift the one trophy that has eluded him throughout his career.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching closely and we'll be listening as well for your voice, Michael. Thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it.
Only a pleasure, Naledi. Thank you so much.
Great stuff. Football commentator there, Michael Abrahamson, giving us some of his predictions of what could happen at the end of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. And we'll keep looking out for Paul the Octopus's predictions as well. Stay with the agenda.